Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Kim Jacobs Show. I'm super excited to have with me Focus James today. How are you, Focus?
Oh, I am wonderful.
Good. Today, we're going to be talking about the focus of love. So everybody grab your virtual seats and share it with your friends, your family, your coworkers. Let everyone know that we're going to be having a really good discussion today about what the focus needs to be. And according to Focus James, the focus needs to be on love.
Yes.
Hi, I'm Kim Jacobs, the Balance Doctor. Thank you so much for tuning in to this episode of the Kim Jacobs Show. Be sure to subscribe to the Kim Jacobs Show right on YouTube. Turn on your notification bell to all so you never miss a beat. And guess what? Every time you watch, you're going to receive a real, relevant, and relatable guest that's going to share with you a piece of the puzzle on this journey called life that will help you be able to manage just a little bit smoother. At the end of the day, the Kim Jacobs Show goal is to be able to provide balance to the world, one household at a time.
Kim Jacobs Show. You're watching Kim Jacobs Show.
Hello, everyone. Yes, it's the Kim Jacobs Show, and I have today Focus James in the studio with me. How are you, Focus?
Oh, I am lovely and so pleased to be here with you.
I'm so glad to have you. Listen, Focus James celebrates a life of varied and colorful life experiences. Molded into a woman of love, acceptance, and peace, she has gathered the experiences of her past and testimonies of her present to continue her lifelong mission to empower everything relationships, spiritually, emotionally, health-wise, and financially. Okay, everybody, this is going to be a juicy episode. Those are in her own words. So we're going to find out exactly what that means, how juicy things are going to get on the Kim Jacobs Show today. Okay, welcome, Focus James.
Hello, everyone. Hello. I'm so excited to be here on this lovely Tuesday evening, or afternoon. So I'm hoping to be having lunch with you guys.
Well, I'm glad, very glad. So, Focus, you say you're the focus of love. Talk to us about why you said, why even the focus? Why is the focus of love?
Yeah, everything is generated from love or fear, right? So you even coming from one of the emotion, not necessarily right or wrong, but is what works for your life and in that scenario. So I really like to help people hone in to focusing on love, specifically in communication and relationship, because that'll generate more of what you want versus the fear of you ain't gonna do that to me again, or you're not gonna break my heart again, right? That kind of focus will generate more of the anxiety and stress. My goal is that we actually help people heal the hurt so you won't repeat the pain, and therefore you'll get the love you actually want and have the life you love.
Wow. Okay. So yeah, you're right. This is going to be juicy. That's a good nutshell right from the beginning. Take us back, Focus, on your journey and what even made you so passionate about focusing on love.
Yes, great question. So at 18, I got married to a 21-year-old. We both were Christians. We both loved God, but loving God is not enough. You also need emotional intelligence, the ability to problem solve, be able to talk things through. And we just didn't have that at 18 and 21. I was coming off the basketball, court, talking smack to my 6'9" boyfriend, right? So I didn't really have the reference that you would need as a wife, specifically myself, not even knowing. I'll tell you this funny story. I actually, about 3 weeks into the marriage, I was rushing to go to my 8 to noon classes at community college, and then 1 to 7 work at the Hearts Gallery ice cream, right? So
okay.
Age for all the Philadelphians that know, it's no longer called the Gallery. And I'm rushing out the door and I walk by and I go, wow, that's a big pile of clothes. It was dirty clothes in the middle of the floor. And I looked at my husband. I saw him see him, that I had no idea that was my responsibility to be washing the clothes. That's how disconnected I was, Kim, because my mom had washed our clothes, cooked our food, because she was of the school of thought that I didn't graduate from high school. I want you guys to just focus on your studies and being an athlete. So I was so, unprepared. And about 4 years into that marriage, his mom decided to be a pastor. took him with her. So he became an assistant pastor, which made me a first lady.
Yeah, people call me that all the time. I'm in the mall and they're like, "Hey, first lady." People are like, "Is Michelle Obama somewhere?" No, it's a church thing, sweetie. Don't worry. I'm not the first lady of the United States.
Well, then you absolutely know what that feels like. It's like you're in a fishbowl, you're serving people, but they're watching you like a hawk because they bring themselves and God towards what you do or don't do. So lots of pressure in that. So we brought on a nanny to help support taking care of our 3-year-old. We also, which who happened to be the armor bearer to his mother. And I think just in the pressure of all of that adjustment, he cheated with our nanny. So it was pretty devastating because I found out by a girlfriend scooping me up and was like, "Let's take a ride." And Kim, she actually took us to our church. And I said, "Why are we here?" She said, "Go take a look." And I go take a look, and he's in this studious royal blue suit with a paisley royal blue tie. And she has a royal blue dress with a beautiful royal blue paisley scarf to match. You know where this is going, Kim. Anybody know in the church?
Okay, wait now. Before you go any further, I'm gonna take 30 seconds, y'all. I'm gonna take 30 seconds, and I'm gonna give everybody a chance to tag some friends, family, co-workers, since y'all kind of getting an idea, I guess, of where we get ready to go with with focus on love. Okay, so she has a different spin on focus on love. So I'm gonna give you 30 seconds to tag a friend. Everybody, you tagging a friend or family or co-workers, we're talking about focusing on love. And this story is getting juicy, according to Focus James. All right. Hopefully you tagged your friends, your family, your co-workers. We're talking about focusing on love with Focus James today. So Focus, go ahead and tell us what happens next.
Yes. So unfortunately, just in our maturation of being human, you evolving all the time. I walked in and I looked, and they're tapping each other, talking to each other as if they were a couple. So I was absolutely devastated because if you can picture looking into a storefront and you see the stage and you see all of the members, you worship God, and they were in a deep worship. I mean, people shouting in the aisles. These are the people I helped baptize, baby showers, weddings as a first lady. So the betrayal wasn't walking in with this couple at a restaurant that's cheating, right? Or even in my own bedroom that was cheating, which will be devastating. But I'm walking in, I'm peeking into the house of the Lord, where all of the people that's my community is also participating in it. So the levels of betrayal was devastating.
So wait, where were you? Why weren't you in the service too?
Thanks for asking. So he had forbid me many a times not to go. Literally forbid me. I'm going to
come to the church service?
Yes, ma'am. I'm going too slow. You hold things up. You're not doing your
So
it was lots of those kinds of conversation. Just to make a point of it, he came home about 3 months into the marriage, took the remote control out of my hand, and he said, "You will not watch Oprah in my house. She is a snake." He's giving you ideas.
Oh, that right there might be grounds for divorce alone. You can't watch Oprah. What?
Right.
you telling me you actually watch Oprah? Oh, no, you don't want to pop. That's like the cardinal sin, right?
It is the cardinal sin. I agree. So that just gives you a perspective of the skewed wrong era thinking that was within that kind of organization, if you will. So fast forwarding back, I, run to the car. I'm like, crying, tears is disbursing at that. Right. And it took me about 10 years, 37 states, Bishop Jakes conferences, retreats, workshops, seminars, life coach, talk therapy to heal the hurt. Because here's what happened. I ended up repeating the pain because I didn't heal the hurt and ended up being with a gentleman. We produced a beautiful little girl, but it was some of the very same rendition of it because the hurt wasn't healed. So going through that process, now I'm actually a full-time love and life coach and a business coach.
Wow.
Second year, full-time, teaching the focus of love, how to heal the hurt so you won't repeat the pain. It took me 10 years, but you all, anyone listening to the sound of my voice, you've been through cheating, betrayal, your marriage is in shambles. You don't have to suffer in silence. I can actually help you to heal that hurt. And that's the gift I get to give back every morning. Kim, I get to wake up and go, God, who would you like me to help heal the hurt. And it's such a blessing.
That is a blessing. You cannot imagine how many people you are going to help get to the other side. And so many of us as women can glean from some aspect of your story to be able to say, okay, so what can I get from what she's sharing to get me to another part of my life? You know, I love everything that you're sharing. So I'm so grateful to have you on today. And so listen, everybody, you know, today we're talking with Focus James. She's talking about how to heal the hurt so you don't repeat the betrayal, and making sure she does this on a daily basis. Now, you said that, let me address some of the studio audience members that came in. By the way. Okay, I see you. I see. Okay, Tony said, good morning. How are you, Tony? All right. And Paula Shea Queen Farb says, good morning. She's one of the authors of a book called My Walk Past Hell. That is a good book.
Let me just say that I actually wrote a poem. I was talking to God, but Satan answered. And that's exactly how I felt. And I realized in that whole process, part of it was that I was angry with God and wasn't willing. So for those Christians, you're secretly angry to God.
Right.
Absolutely have that conversation with me, because I've been there and done that.
Wow. Okay, so that tomorrow they're going to be on the show. For everyone watching, make sure you know that tomorrow several of the authors are going to be on the show, My Walk Past Hell. So I want to make sure that you all check that out tomorrow as well. And I'll put that back up again later. But let me go back to the studio audience comments.
Sure.
Lord, wedding? # wedding. Were they is that what was happening? No, wait, I did not get that. So
yeah, I didn't get that connection either.
Oh, I think, okay, Crystal A. Harrison might be onto something. Were the people, wait. Oh my goodness, please don't tell me this was going on. When you looked through the window and there was royal blue, the matching royal blue, were they getting married?
They were not getting married. There was a revival. It was a service happening, and they were simply on stage as you would walk in any other church, is what was happening.
And they were leading the service as if they were husband and wife.
His mother was preaching, and she is the armor bearer. The nanny is the armor bearer. So she's right next to the mother, which is where she's supposed to be. He's the assistant pastor, and he's next to her. But the interaction between the nanny / armor bearer, my husband, was dipping into each other's ear, touching, you know, all the innuendos a wife and husband would do, you know, during a church service.
Wow. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Girl, you got me over here like, okay. Like, and isn't it interesting how when people talk about Lifetime movies, it's like, no, some of this stuff be based on real life events. This is not a movie. This is real.
All. Yes.
All ears, Paula says. She's all ears. My God. Okay, so how did you end up? Wait a minute. Somebody said, I am here, sis. Paula said, I am here for this, sis. I need to hear you. Man, healing from any kind of relationship hurt, mother, father, sister. I wanted to get some of these comments on earlier because I know as we talk, it's going to get deeper, and I can tell that. So take us to what ultimately happened with your husband, the nanny, as the armor bearer. What culminated from that?
Well, a lot came from that, right? A lot of lessons. One, again, I really want to go back to just being too young. Picking someone like a life partner really requires a lot of skills that most of us don't have when we're trying to make that decision. And unfortunately, I allowed the leaders of the church to influence me at such a young age. See, let me just go back just one more step, and that is that I walked into that church at 16. I walked in that church at 16 because I was going into a depression because my father had passed when I was 10. I was 10. It was because of aneurysm. I was like really that athlete as a result of that, because in my opinion, if something could blow up in his head, it mine too. So I was that person diving for the ball, playing softball, for volleyball, taking these reckless moves, because at that point in my mind, I could die any moment.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. Actually won the Athlete of the Year award, was captain of several teams. So sometimes in processing death, you can utilize it as good, bad, or indifferent, because you just see life a little different. But I was so confronted, Kim, because it was so many girls having their father, and I'm now feeling boys, and I'm feeling lonely and not how to process this. And I'm like, where is my dad? That was so unfair. So at 16, my brother said, well, God will be your dad. And it was told to me that my father had actually committed suicide. So now I'm grieving a whole nother grief. It's a difference between an aneurysm and suicide, right? So I'm grieving all over again. I go to church at 16 and get the healing of what I needed. And before I joined the girls' choir, became an assistant for the children's, Bible study, working for the Bible, the vacation Bible study. We have to have a system in our churches, our mosques, and wherever we worship, is that we actually get the people needs met first before we put them to work in the kingdom.
Wow.
Really what was missing. So I'm walking around doing all this work for God, but still hadn't healed the hurt of the missing of a father.
Right.
Right. So you hear the imbalance, of course, in my inability to make solid judgments when I'm being led in a way that says to work. And what I did not know, that church just had a wave of adultery and children out of wedlock. So they were rushing people to hurry up and get married so it doesn't continue to have that sting and that stigma in that church. I wouldn't have known that. I found that out probably a decade later.
Right.
So once again, if you don't heal the hurt, you'll repeat the pain. See, they weren't interested in healing, but covering up.
Wow. Wow.
Right? So let's hurry up and get people married. You only can date longer than 6 months. And if you're dating, then that's who you're marrying. We're not doing a whole lot of dating. It was a lot of dogmatic preaching coming across, the stage there at that time in that particular church. So all of this affects our community, our ability to make sense. See, most of us we before we can even talk, we're born into multiple conversations that shape our mind and our thinking.
Right.
Actually talk. So that was such my experience in that before I can talk as a Christian, I was already been influenced that you got about good 4 men to choose from. You better pick before they get snatched up.
Wow. And now again, we're talking with Focus James, and Focus James is talking about her personal experience growing up in the church and being prepared by the age of 18, basically to be married. But this is what she was experiencing. Okay, carry on.
Yeah, thanks for clarifying that, because there's going to be many different experiences. I love you said that. So that's actually how I ended up getting married at such a young age, at such tender age, to another Christian. And I'm not doubting his Christianity. I think he was just, directed incorrectly just as much as I was.
Wow.
At these spiritual leaders, when we're holding them to such a high self-esteem, high esteem, that we're not even connected to our own judgment and well-being.
Wow.
And that needs to be directly to, and that's how the Focus of Love got, born as a result of me healing that process. And I want to swing back. I know you guys are hearing all over the internet about Derrick Jackson. I'm going to definitely connect that to it. But I'll say this, that even till a couple years ago, we threw my son a birthday party in the house that the nanny and my ex-husband, they ended up getting married.
Oh, wow. Okay. So there was like a form, obviously, because you said you got remarried as well. So you formally divorced. He got married to the nanny that he had been.
He got married to the nanny.
Formally been having an affair with the nanny?
Say that again.
Did he formally have an affair with the nanny prior to the man?
Oh, definitely. They had already gotten pregnant twice before. They lost one and then had another and then ended up getting married. So yeah, they had a affair. Actually, then they actually had twins as well, which also was part of my reason why I was angry with God. I always wanted to have twins. And when we got married at 18, I was told I'd probably never have children. Now we were blessed to have a child, but I was like, dude, God, really? It's like what, 1 in 100,000 women that can have twins? You're gonna let the nanny, the mistress had a twins I always wanted? So I really felt insulted. So it was this whole.
Wow, this is a lot to unpack. What you're sharing. And then let me say this too. Let me say this too, that every child, no matter what way that the child was born and in what circumstance or situation, the child is a blessing. Okay, so this is Kim's personal view anyway.
Yeah,
that the child is a blessing to the world and from God. So I don't, I just have a lot of different views, but I know that children.
I agree with you. I agree with you 1,000%. My first degree is in early child education, and anybody that knows what it takes to get pregnant, it's not on a whim. I agree also that if you're having sex, just know that that's a high possibility. So not looking to be attached to that person as a parent for the rest of your life. Get up.
That's right. Get up.
That's what my mom
Please
taught me.
type that quote. Get up.
Get
You
up.
don't want to be
That's not
attached.
yeah, you want to be attached to the rest of your life. So no make mistake about it. I am with you because of the whole process of intercourse of what it takes to get pregnant. It is a miracle in and of itself. And for that specific person to come to the but no make no mistake about it, that don't mean I was happy about it either. I'm still going grieving that this is happening with someone that's outside of our marriage. That is our nanny and armor bearer. The pain is still real. And what I found myself trying to do is act as if well, really, I wanted to forgive and move on. But the reality is, many Christians, many people of faith and religion and moral stance and have a compass, we rush through that forgiveness when it's okay to go through the sorrow, the anger, the disappointment, the sadness, the denial, because when you're betrayed, you're going to go through all of the stages of grieving. But as Christians, a lot of times we want to rush through it. Allow yourself to process that. Get yourself a life coach, a talk therapist, and process it, because if you don't, you are definitely going to repeat the pain.
Oh, wow. Okay, I'm getting communication too that there's some echoing and feedback. So I don't know if you had any earphones or anything. But okay. The
Facebook
other
Live.
thing,
I was already on the Facebook. I'm gonna close that.
okay. The other thing that's some good advice that you're sharing, and being able to recognize if you don't want to be connected to somebody and have a lifelong commitment of being a co-parent or whatever the case may be, then get up, make the decision to get up and get going from out of the situation that can cause you to have a child, because children can come from intercourse. So I really appreciate you saying that. So now you said you ended up repeating the cycle and having another kind of bad marriage or situation, all because you really didn't have enough tools yet to be able to equip yourself properly. But now you are equipped. So how do you go about helping other people now?
Yeah, thanks for asking. So fortunately, I got enough tools not to marry that gentleman. Woo, that would have been a miss to repeat that again. I did have a baby by this gentleman, actually, and this is a true story. I actually finally got free. My mom gave me this journal. I was writing things down about this relationship I was in, and I really got an aha moment that, wow, this is not working. This is like a rehash of the marriage and of my pain. And I left the relationship, moved back with my mom. However, she wasn't healed. And actually, oh my goodness, the constant let down, put down anger that was pushed onto me caused me to go back in another depression. And then I had a girlfriend stop by. Her man was actually beating her. She had a black eye. And I said, wow, at least my dude wasn't doing that. Let's talk about comparison. When you compare, you normally compare to stay up or comparing to go down.
I was going to ask you.
Not healthy at all. Mm-hmm.
Neither are healthy, right?
No.
So what is your feedback on a situation? Because as women, we I don't know, we do that all the time. We're like, well, thank gosh he's not,
Exactly.
but if he's having an affair on you with multiple women, then what? Okay, do you prefer that? What do you prefer? How about neither?
You prefer, absolutely. How about neither? I love that. So I was clear out of the marriage at that point. So this was back to the gentleman that I was repeating the pain with. I had broke up with him and was out of the relationship for 4 months at that point. And when my girlfriend stopped by, I saw the black eye. I was comparing this to this next relationship. And I called the gentleman, and on our first encounter is when we got pregnant with my daughter, Simone. First encounter. So that shifted the rest of what it is and who I saw myself to be. Like, oh my God, I can't believe I did this again. I allowed myself to get impregnated and connected to a man that I know I don't want to be with. I know that's not going to be able to substantiate what it is to be a father. So again, went into that whole depression and sadness and begin to really seek out what I have to do differently, because I can't keep repeating this pain. And I'm sharing this with you guys so vulnerably because the sound of The Focus of Love sounds so flowery and and rainbows, but there's a price to pay to have any depth of anything. You don't necessarily have to pay the full price, because myself and other people are here to support you. You don't have to suffer alone, and that's what my message is. You don't have to take the 10 years it took me to figure this out, because now I have the tools, as you said, Kim. Now I have the tools on this side to know I can see them 10 feet away. Oh my Lord, that's the same thing, right? And I get to,
You're like, you can go walk away because you have those tendencies and I can see them.
exactly. And I don't have the neediness either anymore because I healed the hurt from my father's passing. Right. So now it's not this longing and I'm pulling in men to fill that hole. And when you haven't completed that healing, you still have triggers, right? Triggers are always to be there, but you'll heal to a certain degree that you can hear your calling for men that aren't healthy for you, calling for women. And that's when you take a step back. You get in your meditation, takes a couple extra therapy, a life session, and you reset yourself. And that's an ongoing work. It's not a one and done.
I love it. I love the advice that's happening. We're talking with Focus James today about the focus of love and the experiences that she's gone through to be able to even speak so positively, even though she's experienced all of this trauma dealing with these bad relationships that went south. But okay. So the thing is, there are people that are watching Focus and they're trying to find out how can they properly disconnect from people without causing a major blow up? Because it's like, things can get messy, especially like you're talking from a church perspective. How did you end up getting out of that positively?
Yeah, it was really, really. So you can be positive. It's going to be messy.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah, that's what you want to conclude, because again, as Christians, we want to try, or any religion, right? We want to try things to be nice. Everything ain't nice. I'm sorry, Christians, love y'all. Muslims love you too, and Jewish people, anybody in any faith or religion, sometimes we want to have a practice of nicety. It can get you guilt, caught up in sin, and hold you up for years trying to be nice. Now, you want to be respectful and responsible for your words. You don't need to kill somebody with your tongue.
Right.
However, we need some boundaries. This is what it's going to look like now. This is what this relationship is going to look like now. Because all forgiveness don't equal reconciliation.
Wow. Tony said that's right. That's right. So all forgiveness does not equal reconciliation. So how do you recommend people that are wanting to end things amicably, is that the right word? in a positive way, without it being a big blow up? Because like you said, no matter how positive you are, it still is. It is what it is.
Yeah, it's what it is. You're asking a person, I don't no longer want to be with you. So we have several things to be accountable for. Do they still want to be with you? What is that going to look like? And they're like, for he and I not to be together meant he could no longer be the pastor at his mom's church, because they cheat until death do you part and one wife. So literally he lost his church. Literally he lost his relationship with his parents. Literally. So it was a huge price to pay. She made some serious Kool-Aid and chicken because she was our nanny, y'all. But I don't know if it was worth all of that, because he lost all of that, unfortunately, in the process. And in my space of wanting to heal, I even reached out to him after the twins and said, listen, I don't really want a divorce, because I made this covenant, with God. I truly believe until death do you part. Let's see if we can work this out.
Wow.
Here's the kicker. You're saying, well, hey, Focus, how can we do this positively? His response, certainly, he was very nasty. As long as you accept my children. That was his first words. So still bitter and anger. And I just felt in my spirit, if I connect myself to this man, it's going to be so miserable every day of my life. And my daughter, we had carried a child for the first 9 months of our marriage. And unfortunately, she passed away. And that was so devastating to me, because I felt like, well, hey, I kind of didn't want children because it was too much too soon, and I was so young. And when he made those words, as long as you accept my child, it felt like a death again. Like you are going to die in this relationship, all in the name of you attempted to keep this covenant, which needed not have been made in the first place. If you were conscious, you would have not chose this gentleman, because y'all not even compatible. So we got to roll a take back for many people that are trying to make these relationships work and force them and leave happily and go lucky. It won't be that need all of the time. You need to have the hard conversations. And I said to him, you know what? no, thank you. You have a good life.
Wow.
Because I really got present, Kim, that this dude, not even sorry. He feels justified because he think I didn't do something, that it was okay for what he did.
Oh my goodness. If this is helping anybody watching today, put a 1 in the comments. I mean, just put a 1 in the comments. This is helping me. Put it in the comments, y'all. This is amazing information that you're sharing today. And so really, at the end of the day, you had to make a determination whether you were going to sacrifice the rest of your life and who you are as a person and who God created you to be able to appease someone that wasn't even sorry or remorseful or willing to make some necessary changes.
I couldn't say it any better, Kim. Couldn't say it any better. I'm going to sum it up in this funny story, but it's not so funny. We threw my son a birthday party a couple of years back. They actually gave him his house and they moved to another one. So my son is in there. So a few of my girlfriends like, how are you going to that house? I said, honey, I'm going to allow myself to walk through that house, pray. If I need to drop some tears, I'm going to do that. But after that, that's my baby boy house. We got to get the curtains up. I got to get his kitchen together, right? So I said, after that, I'm allowing myself a day to walk through there. And then after that, I'm going to be done with it, right? This is what I mean why healing is an ongoing process.
Yes.
Thought 20 years ago, I'm walking in the house they lived in and made more children. I had a whole household, a whole functioning family going on. So now I got to deal with that again. All of the spirit and space of that. And honey, turned it up with my talk therapist and my life coach, because life coaches need life coaches. Therapists need therapists.
You better believe it.
So we have this 75 people party in this house, people coming and going. They finally get there. She brought the string beans, you know, his wife /
You didn't eat them though, did you?
Huh?
You didn't eat them, did you?
Man, I tore them bad boys up. That
you
girl,
did?
remember, she was our nanny, right? She cooked. And so she was cooking for everybody.
All right. So you can go ahead and get your scoop because you know it wasn't just intended for you.
Exactly. Praise the Lord. There was some good string beans.
You're like, as long as it's in the general pot, I'm good, right?
I'm so good. But when they walked in, I gave him a hug and I gave her a hug. My girlfriend that went through it all, she jumped up and left the house. I got them settled right quick and I ran and tried it behind her, Kim. I said, what's the matter? Where are you going? She said, you didn't have to hug her. Why are you hugging her? I said, my sister, I would have been 30 years deep, miserable in that marriage had she came in the spin. I said, when I hug her, I'm like, thank you, Jesus, that I'm still not suffering in silence in this miserable relationship. So it's a huggable moment. You don't understand, right? I'm like, thank you, God. Because honestly, guys, I really believed until death do you part. I would have absolutely took that man back under any circumstances. But the Bible, I believe, allows you to get a divorce if it's adultery, abandonment, and abuse. And it was all three. So I was ready to go. And at that point, once I made that call, I was ready to go. But that also demonstrated my level of healing. One, I was then able to forgive myself, to recognize I made a choice to get out of my mama house because she was suffering so about the death of my dad, her childhood, her being in foster care.
Right.
So she didn't know how to really connect to me as a daughter. It was very contentious. So when he was like, let's get married to get out of, I got you a house and you don't have to work. I'm like, now that's a good bargain right there. I think I can go with that, right? So telling the truth underneath the truth is also what I get to do in my life coach sessions with people. Because you could be the victim or you can live a good life. You get to choose.
Right. That's good. That's good. What you're saying. Everybody hashtag Focus James, because she is dropping some knowledge today on the Kim Jacobs Show. Make sure you guys hashtag Focus James. Listen, we're going to take a quick commercial break, Focus, and we're going to come back. If you all are ready to even hear even more from Focus James, put a 5 in the comments, a high 5, because she is spilling the whole tea on the Kim Jacobs Show. She is not holding any bars back at all, and sharing some great information and great insight onto how we can move forward with the focus being on love. All right, today's episode let me make sure I share with you. Today's episode of the Kim Jacobs Show is sponsored by Hunter Everidge Law Firm. If you're dealing with Social Security, disability, workers' compensation, make sure you give them a call at 704-377-9157. And also make sure you let them know that the Kim Jacobs Show did send you their way. Anytime you reach out to them, let them know that you are being sent by the Kim Jacobs Show, just so that they'll know where you're connecting from. And we're going to take a moment to learn more about Hunter Everidge right now.
I'm attorney Charles Everidge. I started out representing insurance companies until my father was seriously injured at work. 4 of his fingers were amputated. Our family went through a lot, so I know what you're going through as an injured worker. If you've been hurt on the job, call me now. I'll fight to get the workers' comp benefits you may deserve. I'll fight for you like family. Put my experience to work for you. Call 704-457-5000, the first call for injured workers.
All right. We're also going to ask that you stay connected with the Kim Jacobs Show. And here's how you can do that. First, subscribe to the Kim Jacobs Show right on YouTube and turn on your notifications. It's free to subscribe on the YouTube channel. Turn on that notification bell to all, and then you'll be right in the studio audience every time we go live. And here's another few ways to stay connected. All right, everybody, we are back with Focus James, and we are learning some great information. Thank you so much, Focus. Okay.
You're welcome.
Who could you share with us that has successfully went through your coaching? I know you offer coaching and some training. Tell us about some of the clients that go through your coaching.
Yes, one of my
I muted you. I'm trying to cut with that. I'm preventing that echo. I can hear an echo. I'm going to mute myself.
Got it. Thank you. Adrienne Conyers Bay. This young lady, actually 20 years as a teacher, 20 years in marriage. And when the divorce was processing, I actually reached out to her. Hey, I can definitely support you in this process. And she just couldn't afford my services. So in the middle of the night, I got up and created a scholarship specifically for her. I thought in my spirit, no one needs to suffer because they can't afford what God has blessed me with. So I created that scholarship with her, and we got in there. We got in there working. She was so devastated. She didn't even want to see any male doctors. That's how devastated she was from this marriage, where she actually was abused. She verbally abused, and she had this deep daddy issue, and married a man who constantly referenced, yes, you definitely got daddy issues. This is why you're this. This is why you're that. She went into that marriage looking that she was going to get her master's degree at some point. Unfortunately, she did not. Within 2 years, we've gotten her master's degree. She is financially stable now. It was devastating. You know how that is. 2 homes, 1 home, 2 incomes. She's financially stable now. She's taken every course that I have created. Even, here's the one that I'm the most proud of, if anything, my 8-week life coach program. She is now a life coach where she actually helped people get unstuck. This is a woman that barely would talk above a whisper, not looking at a man, not even considering dating. So not only is she a life coach, she's now single and dating. Her children are thriving. And this is a woman that's powerfully helping other people get unstuck and unstoppable. So I am thoroughly proud of her from her accomplishments. Mm-hmm.
Wow. Okay, so this has been getting unstuck. Everybody hashtag get unstuck. Yeah. That's something we can hashtag for sure. Focus, yes. You have already shared some great information, and you have such a positive aura about you in spite of all that you've experienced. And it sounds like even in going back and dealing with co-parenting situations, you made that even work with your relationship. How do you advise women that are going through this situation to be able to focus on where the focus really needs to be?
Yeah, that was a really big challenge, because at some point he started bringing the nanny to pick up our child. This is before the divorce. And I even said to him, I said, listen, I'm not ready to see that. Could you just, it's not that far of a ride. I'm not trying to pursue you. Could you just pick him up and keep it moving? He said, well, this is my life now. So then I had to adjust myself because the other party is not going to always be willing. So what's best for me? So the way my house was situated, I technically didn't have to walk my son to the curb. So I would wave to him at the door, give him a hug and kiss and say, go ahead and run to your dad. So I didn't physically have to see them in the car, together as a couple. So learning how to protect yourself, you are the number one protector. So requesting or demanding someone who has already victimized you to protect you is really the definition of insanity. So if you're waiting for him to do it, then you're misjudging your responsibility of protecting your body, mind, and spirit, because what you take in, it matters. So I didn't need to see that. So it was my job to create boundaries for me. We also at some point had to drop off, pick up at my mother's home when it got volatile, or he would be screaming and hollering. We could barely have conversations. So that was another way of protecting myself at the same time, as well as my son. So it really takes something to do that, and a village to help you to participate. Also, tell your family and friends, I don't want to know. Even if you want to know, I don't want to know the latest updates of where they're going, where you saw them, what they're doing, right? Right, that's right. You got to protect your ears. You don't need all of that, because that's getting in your spirit and makes you sadder, upset, frustrated. What does it matter to know that they saw them at the steakhouse? Where does that place in your life? What relevance is that, right? So you want to really protect yourself in that way and have conversations. Now, years went by, we were able to co-parent him. Once he really got, I don't care. I don't care anymore. I'm not arguing with you anymore. Man, what time are you coming to get him this weekend? Man, he'll be ready on the doorstep. And right. And so also that was the pushback. Then sometimes there was some missings of picking them up, dropping them off when he saw I got a life, right? So you got to manage yourself then. Get you a circle where you can drop off at cousin house, auntie house, so you can continue to live your life and allow your child to have extended family when a parent stands them up, right? It takes something to manage. It really is a muscle to be built when it comes to co-parenting, because you constantly are confronted with the defeat that marriage didn't work. It is in your face for quite some time. So having to process it on a daily basis is so important, because I tell you what, when I was able to forgive him, I even saw my son differently. I was able to love my son at a deeper level, because as long as I was angry at his father and unforgiving, he had the features of his father. He moved like his father. He said some things like his father. My intensity of discipline and anger was way higher when I was unforgiving, versus when I was able to forgive. Now I'm raising my son. I'm not, his dad wasn't like in there with it, right? Because I cleared that space. Now when I'm disciplining my son, I'm disciplining my son because I'm disciplining my son, not because he remind me of his dad, or you're not going to be like your dad. All of those are clues that you haven't forgiven yet, and there's still some work to do.
Wow, really great tips and great advice. And now I know a lot of people are watching, and I didn't know personally about the story until you brought it to my attention, but Love Ambassador Derek Jackson, you said cheating was such a trigger and disappointment, and I wanted you to speak to that some as well, if you will.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for bringing it up. It really is. This gentleman makes 6 figures on his brand of being a love ambassador. So this is not your average Joe, your pop-up YouTuber. He's 10 years deep. He's been in a relationship with his wife for 12. He cheated the entire time. It just came out. So this is not something you can just go, oh, we all have sinned. We're all human. No, Bill Clinton sinned. He was running the free world, and you can forgive him. He wasn't selling that. He sold to a certain degree that he was a family man. Kevin Hart, he sinned. He was a comedian and he cheated with his wife. But this is your brand. You sell solid, healthy marriages. You sell that. There's a level of responsibility. We could definitely still forgive, but we need to come clean with it. And unfortunately, he's on the fake Christian, apology. If I offended y'all, dude, you was cheating on your wife for 10 years. There's no if. He said, why didn't, if I put myself on a pedestal, please forgive me, but nobody should be putting people on a pedestal. Dude, you put yourself on a pedestal. How about I have betrayed my wife and cheated? I portrayed you all as I was on stage, projecting myself as that dude. Compare me to the man you want, and there you go. And that was wrong. I put myself as a pedestal, and now God has humbled me, and I'm going to submit to his will and shift to my platform. That we can receive, Derek Jacks, but we cannot receive you some form of repentance, and you're trying to sell me your book in the same conversation. And yes, God to forgive if you confess your sins. You haven't confessed yet. You keep saying and skirting around, you either did or you did. So it's really upsetting to the community of, he has millions of followers, Kim. So this not like your storefront pastor. I mean, God bless, my ex-husband, but it's not like that. And that was embarrassing of itself, because we were attached to like 8 other churches down south, uptown. So it was like this buzz going through the Christian community. But this gentleman also is known around the country as well as other countries. You got to come clean and just simply apologize. Take your book down from your comments, sir. You can't sell your book about healing the same time you confessing about cheating. It don't match. And ladies and gentlemen that are listening to this is how not to apologize. It's you. If you're listening to me and you're saying, well, Focus, how do you know when to accept a person back from cheating? This ain't one of them. And I got 2 degrees. I just like saying ain't, because it gives it a little sting right there, right? Right, Kim? So it's so necessary when there's apology there is a remorse. There is a desire that you really get that you pained someone else.
Right.
You really present to that. You're not dismissing it. If I didn't intend. No, it's a different level, and that's what you're listening for when you're contemplating. Focus, should I take this man back after he cheated or ran up our credit cards, bought a car without my, sabotaging our finances? Let's talk about it. I offer a 30-minute complimentary coaching, no cost. Tell me you met me here at Kim's, and if you want to work with me, I'll give you a 15% discount as a result of meeting me here on the show.
Wait, that percentage bleeped out. You give what discount?
She said that percentage bleeped out. She's a businesswoman. I love it. 15%. So
15. Okay.
Correct. That you met me here at Kim Jacobs after the complimentary consultation, and you go, I want to work with you, Focus. I need to process this. Yes, we can. And you'll get a 15% discount as a result of meeting me here on Kim Jacobs Show.
Excellent. Okay, so we'll be putting that information up throughout today's broadcast. If you say that you met Focus right here on the Kim Jacobs Show, she'll give you a 30-minute free consultation as well as a 15% discount off of the actual services that she provides to you. So one question I have for you, Focus, too, is that why is it that the cheater, whether the cheater is a male or female, because you're the expert at this, why is it that the cheater tries to put the blame on the other person versus taking full accountability for their actions? It's like they want to paint the picture that something mystical was going on and wrong with the other person when it's them and they know that it's them. Why would they do that? Because then that's what can make, in my opinion, things get nasty and messy. It's like, you're not going around telling people it had nothing to do with, me or her or him or whoever.
Yeah, I love that question. I have to back up for 2 things. All cheaters aren't always just the protagonists. I want to say that out loud, first of all, because there's a lot of marriages where there's unfulfillment, there's constant conversation, even begging, and that person won't break. That person won't compromise. That person won't make sure their significant other is fulfilled. And I'm literally saying significant other on purpose because men get cheated on too. We just give the we give the stage to women to share that. Most men is too embarrassed to even contemplate saying that out loud. And definitely, if he want to keep his wife, he ain't telling nobody. You can forget that, right? So I just want to say that out loud. All cheaters aren't just the one that got cheated on is not always the only victim, right? I want to say that out loud. But when it comes to deflecting is what you're talking about, right? Both parties, because I sit in front of couples and I'm listening. I'm like, do you not hear? He distinctly let you know, if you don't do this, I'm not being satisfied. And how many years did you think he was going to be able to deal with that in his own human flesh, going to work to and fro, being a part of these different organizations? When did you think he wasn't going to cheat? And that's where we got to take responsibility of how we play in our role in the relationship. Now, I'm going to say it like this. When you cheat, is because you choose to cheat. If you're listening and you're like, well, oh, okay, yeah, I understand, focus. Now, let's back up for a second. Cheating is not a mistake. You showered, you GPS'd, you drove, you picked up flowers, had a
Wait a minute. I got to lay back in my chair on that one. Okay. Why do people say it's a mistake? Stop saying that. Nobody made a mistake going out and booking a whole restaurant or booking a hotel room or booking a trip.
You downloading apps, playing for hotel affair. Come on, man. Affair. Stop playing. So, but part of deflecting and not taking responsibility that no longer works, and here's the consequences. I respect that even more. But people want to huddle into the little boy and little girl corner and say, I made a mistake. You are all the way live and out. Let's call a thing a thing. And it could get really confronting, right? Let's call a thing
a thing. I got it.
Right? And it's so okay. Listen, I'm not excusing that the person cheated, or I'm not excusing if she withheld sex. But we got to deal with it, what it is, or we're going to continue to pretend and act like we're healing when we're not even calling a thing what it really is, which is you chose to cheat because she wasn't giving you none, or because she wasn't looking the part, or because she blah, blah, blah. Now you got to get present that you don't get to make that choice. You cheated because you could have went to your mama house. You could have went and played basketball. You could have got a second job. You could have came to me or earlier. So let's let you be responsible, not blame, because blame just brings shame and regret. I'm not interested in blaming anyone.
Right.
But responsibility, and then let her or him be responsible for their part.
Wow. I love it. I love it. Now, where does forgiveness come into this whole equation from your perspective? Forgiveness is important.
Yes, it's everything. All forgiveness, if you're taking notes, if you're hashtagging and you're dropping in comments, all forgiveness is self-forgiveness. All forgiveness is self-forgiveness. If you're not willing to forgive your spouse, now, forgiveness don't equal reconciliation. That's another question, another course. Come on and get on in here and get my free consultation. We can talk about that. But all forgiveness, your ability to forgive yourself in the part that you played and whatever you played. But somebody's like, Focus, well, what did you do? I told you. I saw it as a way of escape to get out of my mom's house because she was tormented by her own demons and her own pain and unprocessed pain. And I was like, this is better than that. That ain't a reason to say yes to marriage. So although I was pushed by the elders and he was influencing me, he was older, he could quote 10 scriptures and God told him, I also participated because underlining, I wanted out of my situation. Doesn't make me wrong or shame. It makes me responsible. Because once you're responsible for your decision, you get to be present to make a new decision. That's the point of forgiveness. Being able to go, you know what? This is the part I played. I allowed it. I act like I didn't see it, right? And you can make a decision, or I withheld, right? Or I stayed too long. So you physically might have not done anything or said anything, but I stayed too long. Or I needed to assert, we are going to counseling because I can't do this, right? So it's not blame, not interested in blame, but responsibility. And that forgiveness, when that comes in, you see everybody differently. When you realize your own issues and your own unforgiveness, you go, okay, I can see. I am clear. I can see how he ended up cheating. I'm clear. I can see how my ex-husband ended up cheating. And with that graciousness of that, I'm like, I understand. Don't agree. Ain't taking you back, but I understand. And I can forgive him and then move on, right? Which is not the same. You don't have to forgive and forget, because that is a lie. Unless you got some short-term memory disability or disorder, how you forgetting? You got the internet everywhere now, so barely going to forget. So you can forget and then place the relationship where it needs to be.
Mm-hmm. Forgive and place the relationship.
Thank you.
I know what you mean. Today's episode is sponsored by snowlegal.com. I want to take a moment to acknowledge snowlegal.com. They deal with all types of accident. You could be like in a bicycle accident or a motorcycle accident, and you're not sure if you need some type of legal consultation. Reach out Attorney Kenneth D. Snow came on and he made it very clear that if you say that you saw the Kim Jacobs show, him and his team will answer some of your questions for free. So go ahead and make sure you utilize that service, 704-358-0026, or you can email them at info@snowlegal.com and determine if you'll be able to utilize their services. And again, make sure that you say that the Kim Jacobs show did send you their way. Let's learn more about Attorney Kenneth D. Snow and Snow Legal now.
I'm Attorney Kenneth D. Snow, and at the Snow Legal Group, justice is our job.
For more than 20 years, Attorney Snow has been fighting for justice and winning cases in the Carolinas by providing aggressive representation in criminal defense, domestic violence, family law, serious injury, and wrongful death. If you've been injured or lost a loved one in an accident, including tractor trailer or rideshare, you need the Snow Legal Group by your side, fighting for justice and fighting for you. Visit snowlegal.com. Call 704-358-0026 for a free virtual consultation. Located at 6827 Fairview Road, Suite D in South Park.
All right, everyone, we are back with Focus James, and Focus has been you've really helped us hone in on what the focus needs to be, which is not about the other person, but on us. So healing from the hurt, you have some tools back there I see behind you. Talk to us about that.
Yes. Actually, this is the book that's called What is the Focus of Love? And actually, you get a copy of this. You can go on Amazon. You can also, email me for an ebook, or either way, whatever makes you feel comfortable. I actually wrote that, Kim, 90 days coming out of the Les Brown Public Speaking Certificate Program. It was 4 days, 10-hour days in Chicago. I didn't even realize I was in Chicago. I was pinned to that seat. It was like a down payment for the house to be in there, right? So there was no traveling for me. I wanted to get that information. And I actually wrote that book coming out of that class because he said, Focus, people need to hear your story. It is phenomenal. And you need to let people take you home with them. So it's a quick, easy read. It's only 67 pages. One in there is you could be happy or you could be right, but you can't be both. And that was me, purging my mom. My mom, all three mayors knew her in her lifetime. She was part of the No Child Left Behind. She would walk into the mayor's office, Kim. They would see her coming and they'll go to their secretary, give Miss James whatever she want, and run in their office. Okay. She was powerful, but her tongue, boy, there was some people wounded after she left the room. And part of that book is talking to my brothers and sisters in relationship, that what you say absolutely matters, and how you say it absolutely matters, because your words could be ringing in your spouse's life for years to come. They can attempt to forgive, want to forgive, but they're hearing certain words. You scope them differently in their mind, and you'll never get that love back. So I really want to urge people to be careful with your tongue, because sometimes it's just no coming back, and it matters. So you'll hear that in there. You'll also hear, I think it's chapter 5, about how to have scrumptious, juicy sex. And that's an art to keep that spark alive in a relationship as well.
Wow. Okay. So definitely you want to get that book on how to have some juicy stuff that she's talking about, some scrumptious intercourse, especially if you're married type of thing. Yes. You want that to be very scrumptious situation, right? Okay. Listen, make sure that you get all of the tools that Focus James is sharing today. And I'm going to give you some of the ways that you can stay connected with her. She is on Clubhouse. If you are not on Clubhouse, make sure that you join it, because you can check out Focus James right there on Clubhouse. And what times do you typically come on?
Every Monday at 7 o'clock.
Mm-hmm. Every Monday at 7 o'clock p.m. Let's see. Instagram. Yes. So you can also follow her on Instagram. The Focus of Love is how you can follow Focus James there. And then also on Facebook, you can follow her on Facebook at Focus of Love. So there are multiple ways that you can stay connected with Focus James. And basically what I think I'm hearing is, I know you have a hashtag, Heal the Hurt.
Yes.
How do we heal the hurt?
Yes, absolutely. Great question. So one, just being able to really be responsible for your life. See where the hurt is. Be willing to be honest that you are actually hurt. That's the first thing, right? So unpeel that layer. And then be a yes to the freedom of whatever that pain is kind of hampering and suffering you down. I actually have a 3-session course I take people with that. Write that letter to the molester, to the incester, to the person that betrayed you, to that third grade teacher that called you stupid in front of everybody. Now you got 5 degrees still trying to prove to that person, and they not even here yet. They gone, they dead. Write the letter, purge, really get present to that, right? So that you can move on from that, put it in your past and not live from it. Because if it's running a show, it's called a blind spot. You don't even know it's there. That's why Oprah, last time I checked, has 4 life coaches. Anytime a billionaire for anything, can I get a snatch and scratch and sniff of that? Because she recognized there's going to be blind spots she doesn't see. So that's exactly what I do as a life coach. Bring those blind spots slowly in front of you so that you can see it and confront it and deal with it and help you heal together. So you don't have to take this walk, alone. And then you can actually design your life from today. Not what the third grade teacher said, not what mom and dad had said and what had happened when you got married at 18, right? But today, who am I? And I get to design that. That's healing when you live in a scrumptious life from today and by design. Mm-hmm.
Very intentional, methodical information and purposeful to be able to say that I am going to be healed from this hurt, from this pain, from this agony. I am loving what you're saying. And also people are really big on protecting other people. I can only speak for myself. If I go through some different things, my desire is not to see someone else just blatantly disregarded so I always try to figure out what could I do to try to prevent somebody else from being hurt, But I wonder with women that are watching today or men that are watching today that go to the extremes to try to protect other people, what advice do you give them? Because sometimes you have to protect yourself too. So what advice do you have as an expert on this?
Oh, beautiful, beautiful. I'm so glad. So tonight, actually, at Focus James on Facebook, I'm going to be talking about the Derek Jack situation. This gives me a platform to talk to people about being kind of, and I'm being careful with my words here is what. But some people will say he used Black women specifically and women in general to have his go up and to grow by sharing what we missed our father saying, our grandfather and our brothers and cousins. So he pretended to be that man that we can trust about what it was in relationships. So for my part, I get to create that platform tonight to help women heal from the disappointment and finding out he's been cheating on his wife for the 12 years that he's been saying he's the ambassador. So you can create safe places for people to have conversations in a way where you're heard, they're heard, and then you move on. Where it comes, where it's detrimental, it gets in your spirit. It runs your life. You take on their pain. You give it your mortgage money to help them out. That's when it becomes, a deficit. So and this is going to be my third platform. Tomorrow, I'm going to be on a private platform at Facebook with women that have been divorced. There's over 2,000 of those women, and we're going to be talking about it because a lot of them follow Derek Jack. And I'm using him as an example simply because it's right here. It's in our face. So women around the world are dealing with that disappointment. So when you're there for a female, part of it is you need to expand your village, sweetie. I don't mind talking to you about this, but when I get off the phone with you, it's kind of heavy. Let's find you a life coach. Let's find you a therapist to get you more support. Because if you're feeling burdened, you're not helping them. Because all they doing is blah, 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 blah. There's no strategic strategy to heal. They're just venting. And in my life coach session, I'm not interested in you venting. It's probably every story I done heard. You're talking to me so you can get your aha moment. I'm talking to you to ask you questions, to jar your thinking, to hear yourself so that you can get healed and have a juicy life. We not just chit-chatting. You're going to work in here. So when you're being there for a friend or family member, it needs to build a muscle, not just to chat. This is not going to be a powwow hour. This is the time to heal. And that's the kind of relationship you want to have with people if you're saying that you're a protector. Protect their soul so that they can have a juicy life and not just keep, going ruminating and over. And then you both depressed about time to get off the phone. There's no power in that, right? Did I answer your question, Kim? Was that complete?
Oh my goodness, more than complete in a great way. I absolutely love every answer that you've provided for all of the questions today. And it's been our honor and our pleasure to have Focus James here teaching us about the focus on love. Make sure you check her out tonight on her Clubhouse, and she'll be talking more about that. Also, starting this evening, I'll be on Clubhouse for the first time this evening. I'm excited about it. It's going to be at 6 o'clock p.m. And you'll be able to every Tuesday at 6 o'clock p.m. catch us on, and we put Tuesdays not as ownership, but anyway, every Tuesday at 6 o'clock p.m. we'll be on Clubhouse. And tonight, my guest is going to be Sean Braxton. He's a father of 7, and we're going to be talking about how he balances life as a dad and this whole pandemic and life as a father. So make sure you check out that at 6 o'clock p.m. on Clubhouse. And we're going to be having a conversation. You can raise your hand if you want to be brought onto the stage as well. And be sure to follow me first. If you're not following me, I can't even ping you, or I don't know the right words. But anyway, I can't invite you.
Right.
Make sure you follow at Kim Jacobs if you want to be invited into the room and allowed to be able to speak. Okay. All right, Focus. Wow. You know how you're on a show and you have like those closing comments and you're thinking, I forgot to say this one thing. What is something that you still want to say just to leave with the audience today?
Yes, thank you for asking. You know, when you're trying to have a solid relationship where you love someone, you want to allow them to be themselves. Because you know how you have gloves in the wintertime? If you're trying to convert somebody to be you, it doesn't match. One of those hands are going to be cold. Allow them to be who they are as you love them. We're not going to love everything about a person, but a good friend of mine, an old woman, she said, everybody can love what it is to love. When you can tolerate their flaws, that's the one you marry, right? That's what she said. So the goal is not to change each other. It's to accept each other, because true mates, really, true soulmates, we rub each other and make each other grow. And a lot of times it's through pain. It's through the evolution of the problems. And hey, here's my cat wanting to say hello.
Oh, I was gonna say, what is that? A snake? All I can see was the tail.
Just on my lap. So allow
What's your cat's name?
His name is Tiger.
Hi, Tiger. Tiger, like I'm getting on the Kim Jacobs show today.
Yeah. No space in here at all. He still made his way on here.
Believe it or not, Focus, believe it or not, there are some animals that watch the Kim Jacobs show. Rocky, which is Shannon's dog, he hops up on her lap every episode, and he looks like this, like, is she talking to me?
I love it.
That's so funny. Tiger, thank you for watching.
I appreciate being here. Thank you for having me.
All right, everybody. Listen, make sure you tune in tomorrow at 11 o'clock a.m. Eastern Standard Time. We will have some additional authors from My Walk Past Hell. These women are resilient. They are unstoppable. They have a story to tell. And so make sure that you tune in tomorrow to hear some of their life-changing information that they'll be sharing tomorrow right here on the Kim Jacobs Show. All right, so I'm excited. I'll see you all tomorrow. Thank you for tuning in to today's episode. Thank you so much, Tiger, over there, the cat, for participating. And thank you for literally helping us get better focus, James.
Thank you.
On love.
Yes.
So thank you. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you.
All right, everybody. God bless you and have a great day. We'll see you tomorrow.